Hi, it's Steve Riley. Welcome to this episode of Great Practice, Great Life. And today I have the rare privilege and pleasure of bringing back one of my favorite people who I don't get to spend any time with. So I'm using this podcast as a total excuse, a Trojan horse into his life. And that's Brother Curtis. So Brother Curtis, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Steve.
It's great to have you here. Every time we have you share your perspective of the world, it makes a difference. So thanks for making the time. And you're at your own special retreat today. You were just kind of describing where you're at. So go ahead and describe to our audience where you're at, just so people can have a image of what you're doing.
Well, I'm Steve, as you will know, I'm a monk, and I've lived in a monastery in Cambridge, Massachusetts, for almost 40 years. Today, I happen to be at a house in Cape Cod, owned by sisters in a convent, and the house they welcomed my brothers and me to use on occasion. So I'm down with the ocean on your right, the Atlantic Ocean.
Have you talked to me for a few minutes about the roots of envy and how envy shows up and how you advise people about dealing with this very powerful emotion?
Envy is prompted by a hostility um, um, of coveting, and its cousin is jealousy. Jealousy is a hostility prompted by fear. Jealousy is fueled by a sense of scarcity. If he or she has this, there won't be any for me, or there won't be enough for me. In either case, whether we're in touch with envy or jealousy, it's splitting hairs. It can easily hijack us from living the life we've been given, of claiming the fullness of the life that's been handed to us. And I would say that envy and jealousy are self-defeating, um, uh, because uh, because we're ultimately going to lose what we're envious of. Um, and I say lose it in two contexts. For one, we're going to wake up some morning. Uh, we're going to wake up some morning chastising ourselves because we can't believe that we've invested so much energy or anger or obsessive thinking in this external thing that we felt we wanted or needed to have. I think that it ultimately doesn't work. And secondly, what I've just alluded to before is that we are not permanent, that we will die. We will die suddenly, or we will die by diminishment. And whatever it is that we've externalized that we think we have to have to be who we think we are, is going to sift through our fingers like sand. I think the fuel for envy, the fuel for jealousy, comes out of our own self-regard or lack thereof. That if I don't have this, or if I don't achieve this, I won't matter. If I'm not listed as the best of the best in such and such a context, if I don't have this number of clients, if I don't have this level of income, if I don't have these number of homes, whatever's on the list, I will not be fully alive, or I won't fully belong, or to go deeper than that, I won't be loved. I think that all of us learned rules for being loved, going back to our family of origin. Um, uh, I think that, to use Piaget's terms, before higher operations, before we could actually make sense out of what we're being taught, we had learned that we have to do certain things become certain things, act in certain ways, achieve certain things, to be loved, to matter, to belong. Um, I I'm oftentimes having the privilege of listening to people talk about their life, and they will name something which to them is self-obvious. It's a qualifier for what gives them meaning in life, or what is required for them to have meaning in life. And I'll ask them something along the lines of, who taught you that? Where did you learn that? Where did you learn that you have to be such and such, or you have to have such and such? Um, and for most people, when they're in touch with rules that are limiting or qualifying about how they must act to be loved, or what they must achieve to be loved, it goes back to their family of origin. Not that their parents or significant caregivers would intentionally have hurt them or limited them in this way. I mean, most likely not. But all of us learn the rules for how we matter in life. And if we don't get in touch with those qualifiers um, and meet them head on in our own soul, we're going to project them and work them out in our relationship with others. And the shadow side of it is envy and jealousy. Um, I think if someone is in touch with envy and jealousy, uh, a helpful question could be, why? Why do you need this? Why is this important? And I don't mean that as a dismissive question, like, of why do you need that? I don't mean that at all. I mean that as a very respectful question. Why does that matter so much? I suspect, I suspect you've got maybe a number of things that are foundational practices in your life. How you treat people, who matters, uh, why you have hope, um, uh, what your presumption is about someone, whether it be a child or an adult who's quote unquote acting out. Or I mean, I bet you've got some foundational practices or foundational perceptions that inform how you navigate through life,
I think that's,
which are
yes,
wonderful
absolutely.
to claim, when the weather changes. I mean, it sounds like in Florida, if there's a day when you don't have a sunrise, maybe a terrible storm like you all in Florida have experienced now these last number of weeks, my hunch is that how you're describing what you get in touch with the sunrise, you and your wife, is still going to be a part of your life, sunrise or not, your foundational practice.
I think that's very well said. I think it's a relationship practice, and the sunrise is an excuse to continue the relationship practice. So it's an act of love and gratitude around the relationship. The sunrise is just perfect timing.
Yeah,
If that makes
yeah,
sense. Gratitude for
yeah,
the relationship.
yeah. So you know, so if you didn't say this explicitly, but I'm thinking this may be so. If it isn't, I'll just push you a little bit on this. That that I'm just thinking the way you're speaking about the sunrise that you and your wife enjoy at the beginning of the day is actually uh, a kind of a kind of beacon that informs how you practice your whole day, which is with
Agreed.
gratitude.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
it it's 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 the ex, it's the outward sign of how it is you want to be inwardly present to the entire day, which is with gratitude, with amazement, with sense of wonder, joy, some other words that you've used.